We are recording. Good morning.
Morning.
Yeah, it's morning. I've got sunlight behind me, and you have sunlight behind you. Ladies and gentlemen, today we have a star. This is Nancy Juetten, like Button, and she is the most amazing person I've ever heard get people to focus and figure out how to write about themselves in a way that matters. Her first book, which I didn't look at the title, No More Boring Bios, I believe. Yeah,
Bye bye boring bio.
bios. That is astounding. And she also does a number of major elements. But Nancy, tell us about what's going on right now and what's coming up next.
Well, I'm a podcast guesting success expert, and the expertise that I have is especially timely for those speakers, experts, thought leaders, and messengers who were benched from live events when the pandemic hit a couple of years ago. It's been very empowering and exciting to empower so many thousands of messengers to learn how to book themselves on top podcasts without hiring an expensive booking agency, and to see their stars and their incomes rise as a result of being brilliant podcast guests. This has been my focus since the pandemic hit in March of 2020, and it has been a brilliant pivot for me in my business because I've been able to share my message around the neighborhood, around the country, around the world, and lasso lots of listeners who have since become my very, very valued clients. And so I'm very, very delighted to have made that pivot and to be of service in this very specific way that is so timely right now and of service.
Your work is amazing. And what I want you all to know is it's not just that she's going to show you how to write something or tell you something. With the information that I received from Nancy last year in a 5-day free event, I now am on lists for podcasts. I probably get 50 things a week coming in going, well, do you like this? And is this? And I'm just kind of getting ready for the podcast. But I'm always astounded when people go, I just don't know how to get on a podcast. And it's like, I have a secret I could let you know. I'm very willing to share. And
Well, that's the cool thing is that as I teach people how to do this, then they can help other people to do this, and they can help other people to do this. And all of a sudden, all the hosts, there are 2.8 million podcast hosts on the air today, and they then have their choice of even better prepared guests who know what to do, who can stand apart and be chosen. And I think that that can be my little ripple effect in the world. I mean, I'm not just teaching people how to do something, I'm teaching people how to fish so they're never hungry for an audience ever again. And when you speak, you can turn your words into clients, connections, collaborations, and cash if you are prepared to show up as your best human being self, pour on the value, and create a rapport with the host and those who are listening. And it's just been really, really rewarding to see people learn these lessons well and to have those results for themselves.
it is amazing. And a woman I collaborate with, Marilyn, has been also taking your advanced trainings, like almost your masterminds. And every week she's like, and this day we did this and I found out this, and so
Well, I love that this woman you
she's
refer to,
connected with you.
I think the world of, and I think we're all on the path to mastery. And this person you're referring to is 80 years old, and she is in her finest hour of
Yes.
making a contribution in the very specific role that she plays. I think it's so exciting that people that are on the other side of 45, 50, 55, they can use podcast guesting to share their message, tell their story, make an impact, create bridges of trust and understanding. It's just very exciting.
She is, and she is She's always been incredibly amazing. We've known each other a long time. And when recently we started working on a book that she's held in her heart for a long time. And it's almost finished. It's called Spinning Mistakes into Gold. And we are fortunate enough to have a foreword from Nancy, and it's amazing. And so we asked her to come on today. And one of the things that Marilyn and I see as a very key piece as we grow up and into our lives is that as wise women, elder women, Nancy's much younger than we are. But
You might be surprised.
That we've hit bumps in the road, sometimes fall off the cliff as we're trying to get our lives and work to where we want it to be. And those mistakes end up, as painful as they might be in the moment, and we're there going, what in the world? A little ways down the road, you start seeing the sparkle of the gift of that mistake. And so the focus of our book, as Nancy knows, is for younger women coming up. Now, younger could be 63, it could be 16, but to just help them move past those points. And I know Nancy's read much of the book. Her foreword came in one of the earliest pieces because we knew what we wanted. We had some few things. So I'd love you to talk a little bit about your experience and how you felt in reading the work, or what you'd like to talk about there.
Well, I was deeply moved by the book because when you get to be on the other side of 50 or something better,
yeah,
you can look back on your life and say, what would I say to my 20-year-old self? What would I say to my 16-year-old self? What would I say to my 30-year-old self? And if you had that wisdom when you were 30, how would you sidestep mistakes that you otherwise could avoid and choose a better path? And so I think that some people learn best by experience, and it doesn't matter what they read, they're still going to make mistakes.
Mm-hmm.
But if you are thinking, gosh, if I could fast track my path to success, happiness, relationships, wealth, health, if you could fast track your path to those beautiful outcomes by learning from the lessons of women who have been there, done that, got the t-shirt, and may have done it in a rocky kind of road, well, what if that could save you years of angst and grief? So I think that this book could be a brilliant gift for every woman who graduates from high school, from college, from advanced mastery training in any education. It could be a beautiful birthday gift for people that reach a certain milestone age, like 18 or 21, 25. I mean, we hear about the quarter life crisis for some people who are 25 years old. Well, this is a book that people who are having a quarter life crisis should be reading right about now, because maybe it could help them get over the hump and get on with the business of getting on with the brilliant life that they truly can have if they take inspired action. So I really think the book is a great blessing to all women. And I think those who have an opportunity to tell their story, it can be a very validating contribution for them to be making. But those who get to read those stories get to be enriched by them. And I think that's the beauty of this book.
Thank you. And yes, I think for each one of us who authored a story or brought a story into the grouping, it's almost like the stone soup. We all brought our stones into the soup to make enough soup for the entire tribe.
The other thing that's really nice about this kind of book is remember, I'm a marketer at the core. I think I came out of the womb with a pen in one hand and a megaphone in the other. I've been promoting people and things and causes all of my life. And the beautiful thing about having multiple contributing authors to any published work is that they're all very proud of it. And they all have their own networks of fans, followers, family members, champions, and advocates. And if every one of those members of the collective who wrote this book invites everyone they know to buy a copy as a demonstration of support for the mission of this book has the potential to be a bestseller very quickly.
Yeah.
And I think it could be the kind of book that could be part of book clubs around the country. I think it's the kind of thing that could be in doctors' offices and dentists' offices and breast cancer centers and all kinds of places where people could reach for it. I'll never forget the time that I had a back issue. I fell down on my tailbone, couldn't get up. It was not a pretty thing. And I ended up going to see a chiropractor. And I'm sitting in the chiropractor's office, and there's this book there from Jack Canfield.
Wow.
It was Chicken Soup for the Chiropractic Soul. And I thought, oh my goodness, because I was a little skeptical about chiropractic, but I read the book while I was in the waiting room. I read all the amazing stories about how lives were transformed and healed because of this healing mechanism. And I ended up getting relief from my pain. And I thought, wow, how awesome. So I can see so many opportunities for this book to be shared in all kinds of ways where people can pick it up and think to themselves, I need to pick up this book for everyone I know. And I hope that's what happens.
Thank you. Well, that's what we're looking at. And I know you believe in the power of intention, as we do, for certainly. And all you listening to this, add your intention to it, because it is a beautiful and sweet book with some amazing, powerful women behind it. And we don't see it as a solo book.
Oh, tell me more.
We're talking about, would there be just an extension of this? Maybe a version of this from the male point of view? Just because every time you can reach out and help somebody up the next step, that's what we're here for.
Well, so that reminds me of another bright idea you might consider.
Awesome. I'm taking notes.
So for some women, reaching their 50th birthday or their 40th birthday or their 60th birthday, it's a milestone birthday that's worthy of note and celebration. So there was a woman I crossed paths with a number of years ago who was approaching her 50th birthday, and she considered it a major milestone in her life. So she decided to create this project called the Women of 50 Project. And every year there's a whole new crew of women who are reaching their 50th birthday. So she created a whole series of books and calendars and interesting things that people could participate in. Are you part of the 2002 Women of 50 project? Are you part of the 2003 Women of 50 project? But what you're doing here is there's all kinds of, look at Chicken Soup for the Soul.
Oh yeah.
It started as a compilation series by Jack Canfield. And he and Mark Victor Hansen said, I think the world needs something called Chicken Soup for the Soul, and we want to pitch this book. And so they pitched this book to, I don't know how many publishers, got so many rejections. And then finally someone said yes. And it became a book that became a Guinness Book of Records record holder for the most number of #1 international bestseller status books on the charts ever. Yeah. Because they did Chicken Soup for the Teenager, Chicken Soup for the Chiropractor, Chicken Soup for the Women's Soul, Chicken Soup for whoever it is. Yeah. So he turned that into a bazillion-dollar enterprise by redoing it and re-niching it year after year. So it could be a really brilliant thing that you and Marilyn do.
Well,
not a bad idea.
Yeah, thank you. And we also, one of the things Jack shares about how they got the first one out, because as with many books that go on to be amazing, a lot of publishers passed it up. And one of them, they met somewhere and he said, well, how many do you think you can sell? And they came up with some number. And he said, okay, if you get that commitment in pre-sale, I'll publish it. And so he did. At talks that he was giving, people made contributions. Marilyn did a talk a couple of weeks ago, and she did some pre-sale, and she sold books to about 75 to 80% of the people present.
Nice.
And, they're not bought yet, but it's commitment and it's moving the energy out. I mean, I'm the person that's all about energy in my
I
world.
think that's beautiful. And if Marilyn were to talk about this book on podcasts, there's so many podcasts for women in midlife.
Yeah.
And she could be talking about how wise women have spun their stories and experiences from life into gold that others can benefit from. It could be a commencement address. It could be all kinds of things. So as she beats the drum for this important work,
yes,
there will be opportunities for it to be shared worldwide. And I would like nothing better than for her to become an international bestseller.
It would be good. It would be good. And yeah.
Why not aim high? Believe and behave as if it's already happened.
Yep, absolutely.
The arms wide open to welcome those opportunities. And I mean, for a woman of 80 years old to bring a book to life like this, it's the kind of story that I could see Lister Holt closing the 6 o'clock news. saying, here's a woman 80 years old that's still got it going on and is trying to empower and inspire young women around the world and change the world at the same time. I mean, these are the kinds of stories that we like to see, hear, and celebrate. So absolutely. I think she needs to start thinking very big about it. And I think she needs to start beating the drum about it. I think she needs to be talking about it a lot. And if she can convert 75% of the room to be a pre-sale on her book, she needs to get in a lot more rooms and make that a steady habit.
Yeah, no, we're both headed down that path with this and with other things. So it's been amazing to chat with you, and we'll get this out, and I'm going to be sending a lot of my people who may be out looking at this information about something you're doing this next week. So I will keep you informed of what Nancy's doing.
And am I allowed to say what that is?
Absolutely. And we'll put a tag on the bottom of this. Please do.
A couple of times a year, I host a live virtual event called the Podcast Visibility Live Lab. And it's my opportunity to share with you how you can prepare your message, position yourself, prioritize the right shows, pitch so you are not resisted, ping pong people back into your world so you can profit. And if you would like to learn how to be a brilliant podcast guest, the Podcast Visibility Live Lab is your golden opportunity to learn the pillars of this system as my gift to you. And should you decide to want to do business with me subsequently and come behind the velvet rope, you will have the benefit of my velvet boot of accountability to make sure that you book yourself on 4 to 12 shows in 12 weeks so that you're never hungry for an audience ever again. So I hope you'll visit the link that Charel will share in the show notes so that you can claim your place. It starts June 6th through the 14th, 2022. And of course, I do this a couple times a year. So if you watch this video subsequent to this, the link will still be active and you can still register.
Awesome. And you should show up because I will see you there.
Yay.
It'll be my second time. My first time I was a little overwhelmed by all of the information. And I'm just like, okay, I need to go do that again. I'm ready to take more in.
I want you to drop out of the Getting Ready to Get Ready Club and jump into the pool right now, because we don't know what tomorrow is going to bring. We don't know if there'll be another virus or a health challenge or some crazy thing that's going to get in the way of your ability to deliver your message. Deliver your message now like it really counts, and you will never be disappointed, and you'll never be hungry for an audience ever again when you learn how to at the feet of my generous wisdom. Absolutely.
Yeah. I've seen her in action and I've seen the results in action. So
it's very satisfying. I have all kinds of people out on the planet remembering me well for having made this powerful transition and transformation for them. And I have a lot more work to do, and I can't wait to transform more lives. So I hope that y'all come and you'll meet Marilyn. I bet you she'll be participating.
I think so.
And she's had some amazing results.
Yeah.
And I hope that well, she's a member of the Broadcast Your Brilliance Boot Camp, so she's going to be the beneficiary of all my great marketing ideas to help her speak up and share about this brilliant book that will be such a blessing to so many.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Okay, Nancy, Monday.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye.
Bye-bye.